Okay, rights of the accused. So, halos kalahati ng Bill of Rights deals with the protection of the person facing criminal investigation or prosecution. Okay? So, higit kalahati, rights yan ng mga accused. So, in addition, doon sa due process, Section 1, in general, and yung prohibitions against unreasonable searches and seizures, ex post facto, bill of attainder, involuntary servitude, imprisonment of death, which are discussed sa Bill of Rights din. In addition sa mga yon, yung mga person suspected or accused of a crime is entitled to the specific safeguards embodied by Section 12, 13, 17, 19, and 21 ng Bill of Rights against his arbitrary prosecution or punishment. Okay? Some of these are reiteration ng old rules, but there are number of significant new provisions that have been definitely improved the present Bill of Rights and made it better guardian of the liberty of the individual whose innocence is being questioned. Okay? So, i-discuss natin lahat yan. 12, 13, 17, 19, and 21. Okay, so Section 14, Paragraph 1 muna tayo. Okay? Sa Paragraph 1 lang No person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of law. Okay, that's the Paragraph 1. This is the criminal due process. So, ang isang tao, hindi siya pwedeng ma-punish for a commission of a crime or isang criminal offense without due process of law. Okay? So, yung Article 3, Section 1 natin, okay, yung Section 1, di ba? No person shall be deprived of liberty, life, liberty, property without due process of law. Deals with the due process in general. So, kino-cover niya both its substantive and procedural aspects. Moreover, nag-a-apply yun sa lahat ng proceedings, whether civil man, criminal, administrative. Okay? By contrast, itong Section 14, Paragraph 1, restricted lang ito sa criminal cases and purely sa procedural requirements. So, that is the Paragraph 1. Okay? So, yung criminal due process requires that the accused be tried by the impartial and competent court in accordance with the procedure prescribed by law and with proper observance ng lahat ng karapatan niya na binigay sa kanya ng Constitution and ng mga batas. Okay? Accordingly, to illustrate, kapag dinenay mo sa kanya, like for example, yung right niya to preliminary investigation as required by law, then that will constitute denial ng due process. Hindi mo binigay sa kanya yung karapatan niya ng preliminary investigation. Okay? It should be noted that yung right niya to a preliminary investigation, hindi yan kasama sa mga rights na binigay ng Bill of Rights. Okay? Yung right to preliminary investigation is purely statutory. Okay? Statutory lang yan. Even so, kapag dinenay mo yung right na yan in the absence of a valid waiver, magva-violate ka ng due process. Okay? Sabi nga ni Justice Inares Santiago sa case ng Sales versus Sandigan Bayan, while yung right is statutory, fundamental pa rin yan. Okay? It is a component part of due process in criminal justice. The right na magkaroon ng preliminary investigation conducted before being bound over to trial for a criminal offense and hence formally at risk of incarceration or some other penalty, hindi lang yan formal or technical right, substantive right yan. Okay? So kapag dinenay mo yung accused ng kanyang right to preliminary investigation, it would be to deprive him of full measure of his right to due process. Okay? Sa case naman ng Salonga versus Panyo, yung petitioner dito, nag-move siya for the dismissal ng subversion charges against him on the ground of lack of prima facie case. Okay? So, yung motion niya was denied. Tapos pumunta siya sa Supreme Court where he was upheld. Sabi ng court, nakita ng court yung supposed evidence against him was extremely tenuous. Okay? Yung testimony ng prosecution witness was contradictory and incredible, if not at times exculpatory. Yung photograph naman na pinakita, which he and another accused appeared, was rejected as evidence of subversion. As so too was the claim that his house had been used as a contact point of the conspirators, and certain remarks made by the petitioner which were critical of the Marcos administration were considered protected by freedom of expression. May sabi ng court, dapat yung respondent judge should have taken these factors into consideration before concluding that a prima facie case exists against the petitioner. Okay? Stressing yung citizen's right, hindi lamang maging malaya from arbitrary arrest and punishment, but also from unwarranted and vexatious prosecution. Okay? Sabi ng judge dito, dineclare niya na yung integrity of a democratic society is corrupted if a person is carelessly included sa trial of around 40 persons when on the face of the record, wala namang evidence na naglilink sa kanya dun sa alleged conspiracy. Okay? So in order to satisfy yung due process clause, hindi sapat na merong preliminary investigation in the sense of making sure that the transgressor shall not escape with impunity. Okay? Yung PI na yan serves hindi lamang sa purpose of the state. More important, part yan ng guarantee of freedom and fair play, which are birthrights ng lahat ng naninirahan dito sa atin. Okay? Fair play. It is therefore imperative upon the fiscal or the judge, as the cause may be, to relieve the accused from the pain of going through a trial once it is ascertained that the evidence is insufficient to sustain a prima facie case and that no probable exists to form a sufficient belief as to the guilt of the accused. May due process denied din yan kapag yung isang tao impleaded siya for a violation of law, administrative regulation, municipal ordinance. Tapos itong batas na to na na-violate niya, hindi naman pinablish. As he would not know what acts yung kailangan niyang gawin or iwasan to avoid prosecution. Okay? Hindi naman nila pinascale yung bagong ordinance, yung regulation. So paano malalaman ng tao na bawal pala to? So kapag pinanish mo yung tao, dahil lang nag-violate siya ng isang batas na hindi naman na-publish, that is a violation of due process. Okay? Sa interesting case ng Pesigan versus Angeles, yung Carabao ng mga plaintiff were taken from Camarines Sur papuntang Batangas. Kinonfiscate to sa Camarines Norte pursuant to Executive Order 626, yung pinoprohibit yung transporting ng Carabaos from one province to another. Okay? So, yung mga plaintiff dito, nagsu sila for recovery ng mga animals and for damages. Sabi ng Supreme Court that the executive order hindi dapat in-enforce against them because late na pinablish yung executive order na yun. 2 months after nila kinonfiscate yung mga Carabao. Okay? So, yung penal regulation na yun, naging effective lang siya 15 days after siya ma-post. Kasi yun yung nire-require sa isang batas. Kaya ang batas, dapat pinapublish yan in a general newspaper of circulation or 2, official gazette or 2 newspaper of general circulation bago i-enforce. Okay, para malaman ng mga tao na meron palang ganitong batas. O wag nating gawin to, o dapat nating gawin to. Okay, so kapag pinanish mo sila dahil doon, that is a violation of due process. Okay, next right is the Section 17, which is self-incrimination. Rights pa rin ng isang accused to. So, Section 17, no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Hindi ka pwede mag-witness laban sa sarili mo. Okay? So, yung right against self-incrimination, galing yan sa common law based on humanitarian and practical considerations. Okay? Humanitarian kasi intended yan to prevent the state with all its coercive powers from extracting from the suspect yung testimony na pwedeng makapagpahamak sa kanya. Okay? Practical, kasi yung tao is subjected to such compulsion is likely to perjure himself for his own protection. Okay? Etong right na to, hindi lang to available sa criminal prosecutions but all other government proceedings, including civil actions, administrative, legislative investigations. Okay? So, it may be claimed not only by the person accused of an offense, pati yung mga witness to whom an incriminating questions is addressed. Okay? O, ikaw ba yung nagnakaw? Pwede mo sabihin, invoke my right against self-incrimination. Kasi pag umuo ako dyan, hindi parang umamin na ako, di ba? So, mananahimik na lang ako. That is the right to self-incrimination. So, ano yung scope niya? So, as long as yung tanong will tend to incriminate, okay, as long as yung tanong sa'yo, ikapapahamak mo yung sagot, the witness is entitled sa privilege na to. Okay? In all other cases, hindi siya pwedeng tumanggi na sumagot doon sa tanong. Provided that yung tanong is relevant and otherwise allowed, even if the answer may tend to embarrass him or subject him to civil liability. Kahit na nakakahiya, kailangan mo yan sagutin kung valid naman yung question. Okay? Hindi, ang pinagbabawal dito, yung pagsagot mo ng makakapag-incriminate sa'yo. Ibig sabihin, makakatulong dun sa case ng prosecution para ma-implead ka or para ma-convict ka. Okay? Pero kung yung sagot na yan nakakahiya lang sa part mo, hindi mo pwedeng i-invoke ito. Okay? So, the rights, etong right na to, hindi rin to pwedeng invoke kapag yung question asked relates to a past criminality for which the witness can no longer be prosecuted. Okay? Let's say, nakulong ka na. May ginawa kang crime, nakulong ka na, lumaya ka na. Kinuha ka as witness, tinanong ka dun sa, tungkol sa crime na nakomit mo dati, na na-serve mo na. Pwede mo bang i-invoke yung right to self-incrimination mo? The answer is no. Okay? Because hindi ka naman na mai-incriminate. Kasi nakulong ka na. Okay? Or pag nag-proscribe na, or na-acquit ka na, na-convict ka na dun sa past crime na yan, okay, hindi ka na pwedeng tumanggi sumagot. Okay? Hindi rin siya pwedeng tumanggi sumagot where he has been previously granted immunity under a validly enacted statute. Okay? So, pag naging immune ka, hindi ka pwedeng sumagot. Hindi ka pwedeng tumanggi sumagot. The kernel of the right, it has been held, is against not all compulsions but testimonial compulsions only. Take testimonial compulsions lang. Okay? Now, let's say, kukuhanin yung dugo mo para drug test, malaman kung gumagamit ka ba talaga. Pwede ka tumanggi? The answer is no, because hindi yun pasok sa right to self-incrimination. Okay? Pero what if gusto pagsulatin ka? Okay? May isang question document. Akusado ka, ikaw daw yung nagsulat nun. Okay? So, pwede ka ba nilang sabihin na, magsulat ka nga rito, titignan natin kung magkaiba talaga? The answer is no. Because yung pagsulat mo, kinakailangan gamitan ng ng isip. Okay? So, kapag yung isang bagay na kailangan gamitan ng brain power, makakapag-incriminate sa'yo, pwede mong i-invoke itong karapatan na to. Okay? So, yung isang tao, pwede siyang makompel na mag-submit sa physical examination ng katawan niya to determine yung involvement niya sa offense of which he is accused. Pwede siyang pilitin na magpa-submit sa physical examination. Okay? Kasi hindi kailangan ng brain power doon kung i-examine ka. So, hindi siya hindi mo pwedeng i-invoke yung right mo against self-incrimination. Another example, isang tao charged siya with rape. Okay? Tapos in-examine siya for gonorrhea na kasi baka nahawa siya dun sa biktima. Supreme Court said, yung examination na yan valid, saying it was no different from examining his fingerprints or mga other parts ng bodies niya for identification purposes. Okay? Mga hindi kailangan ng brain power yan. So, pwede kang i-compel na ibigay yung mga yan. Okay? Similar ruling sa case ng Villaflor versus Summers. Involved to yung examination ng isang babae accused ng adultery to ascertain kung buntis ba siya. Okay? So, pina-examine. So, pwede bang i-invoke ng babae right niya against self-incrimination kasi baka yung resulta makapag-incriminate sa kanya. Sabi ng Supreme Court, yung prohibition of compelling a man in the criminal court to be a witness against himself. Prohibition yon of the use ng physical or moral compulsion to extort communications from him. Okay? Not an exclusion of his body as evidence when it may be material. Okay? Yung prohibition sa self-incrimination, nag-a-apply lang yan sa compulsion sa pinagproproduce ka ng documents, papers, chattels that may be used as evidence against dun sa witness. Except na lang where the state has a right to inspect the same, such as mga books of accounts ng corporation under the police power. The privilege also protects the accused against any attempt to compel him na mag-furnish ng specimen of his handwriting in connection with his prosecution or for falsification. Yung privilege na to also protects the accused against any attempt na i-compel siya na mag-furnish ng specimen ng kanyang sariling handwriting, let's say in connection sa prosecution for falsification. Okay? Kasi yung handwriting ginagamitan ng mental prowess. Okay? Writing is something more than moving a body. Okay? Hindi yan purely mechanical act. Nagre-require yan ng application ng intelligence and attention. Okay? So, kapag pinagsulat ka, gagamit ka ng intelligence, gagamit ka ng attention. So, pwede mong i-invoke yung right mo against self-incrimination. Okay? Kung makakapag-incriminate naman sa'yo yung sinasabi mo o yung susulat mo. So, kailan available tong right na to? So, as a rule, yung privilege against self-incrimination may be invoked only kapag merong incriminating question is asked. Okay? Since the witness has no way of knowing in advance the nature or effect ng question to be put to him. Okay? This is true, however, sa mga ordinary witness lang. Okay? In case ng accused himself, it is settled na pwede siyang tumanggi at the outset and altogether to take the stand as a witness for the prosecution. Pwede siyang tumanggi na magbigay talaga ng testimony. Okay? Doon sa witness, pwede lang siyang tumanggi sa mga tanong na pwede mag-incriminate sa kanya. Okay? Yung accused, pwede siyang tumanggi to take the stand altogether on the reasonable assumption that the purpose of his interrogation will be to incriminate him. Okay? Sa case ng Chavez versus Court of Appeals, the prosecution called one of the accused that the petitioner herein as his first witness. The petitioner demurred, invoking his right against self-incrimination, but was finally compelled to testify under the pressure from court. So, na-convict siya dahil dun sa strength ng testimony na nanggaling sa kanya as the star witness for prosecution. Okay? Tapos, nag-file siya ng petition for habeas corpus. Sabi ng Supreme Court, ginrant yung habeas corpus declaring inter alia that petitioner is a defendant sa isang criminal case. Tinawag siya ng prosecution as first witness to testify for the people during the first day of trial. Petitioner objected and invoked the privilege of self-incrimination. This, he broadened by the clear-cut statement that he will not testify. Pero yung petitioner's protestations were met with the judge's emphatic statement that it is the right of the prosecution to ask anybody to act as witness on the witness stand, including the accused. Yung defense hindi makapag-object. Okay? The cumulative impact ng lahat ng to is that the accused had to take the stand. He was thus peremptorily asked to create evidence against himself. The foregoing situation molds a solid case for the petitioner, backed by the Constitution, the law, and jurisprudence. Okay? Yung petitioner as accused occupies a different tier of protection from the ordinary witness, wherein yung ordinary witness may be compelled to take the witness stand and claim the privilege as each question requiring an incriminating answer is shot at him. An accused may altogether refuse to take the witness stand and refuse to answer any and all questions. Okay? Last, waiver. Okay, so yung right against self-incrimination, pwedeng ma-waive yan. Either directly or by failure to invoke it. Provided na yung waiver is certain and unequivocal and intelligently, understandingly, and willingly made. Okay? Thus, yung isang tao who is under a subpoena duces tecum voluntarily surrenders an incriminating paper which is put, nagbigay ka ng document, kusa. Okay? Yung document na yan nilagay as evidence against sa'yo. So, you are deemed to have waived the privilege. As so too is an accused na yung akusado, nag-stand talaga siya. Tinake niya yung witness stand, tapos nag-testimony talaga siya. Okay? Hindi siya pinilit. O kung ano, that is a waiver. Okay? Dun sa case ng ganun, the witness may be cross-examined and asked incriminating question on any matter he testified doon sa direct examination. Next is custodial investigation. So, this is the right sa Section 12. Okay? So, Section 12, any person under investigation for the commission of offense shall have the right to be informed of his right to remain silent and to have a competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice. Okay? If the person cannot afford the services of a counsel, he must be provided with one. These rights cannot be waived except in the writing and in the presence of the counsel. So, first paragraph talks about the right to remain silent and right to have a counsel. Okay? So, hindi na waive yan except in writing and in the presence of the counsel. Kung wala ka pang bayad ng counsel, one will be provided for you. Paragraph 2 is no torture, force, violence, threat, intimidation, or any other means which vitiates the free will shall be used against him. Secret detention places, solitary, incommunicado, or other similar forms of detentions are prohibited. Paragraph 3, any confession or admission obtained in violation of this or Section 17 hereof shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. So, pag violate mo tong section na to or Section 17, inadmissible yan. The law shall provide for penal sanctions and civil sanctions for violations of this section, as well as compensation to and rehabilitation of victims of torture or similar practices and their families. That is Section 12. Okay, so custodial investigation means any questioning initiated by the law enforcement officers after a person has been taken into custody or otherwise deprived of his freedom of action in any significant way. Okay, so yung questioning yan ng law enforcement officers or inimbitahan ka sa presinto. Okay? That starts custodial investigation. Okay? So, according to 7438 is rights of a person detained, accused, or otherwise under custodial investigation. Sabi doon, custodial investigation included dyan yung practice of issuing invitation doon sa tao who is investigated in connection with an offense he is suspected to have committed. So, pag may inimbestigahan ka ng tao, inimbitahan mo siya, tinanong mo siya, okay? In connection doon sa pinagsususpetsahan na nakomit niya, without prejudice to the liability of the inviting officer for any violation of law. Okay? That is custodial investigation. Extrajudicial confession naman, yung confession outside of court. Yan ang extrajudicial. So, para maging admissible yan, mayroong requisites. 4. Okay? Dapat voluntary. Voluntaring binigay yung statement, yung confession. Binigay yung confession with assistance of the counsel of his own choice. Okay? So, merong isang case, hindi siya yung namili ng abogado niya. Binigay sa kanya. Kahit na gusto niya mamili ng abogado kasi itong abogadong binigay sa kanya, marunong mag-Ilocano. Siya, Ilocano lang yung kaya niya sabihin. Kaya binigyan siya ng abogadong Ilocano. So, hindi siya yung namili. Kahit may kakayahan siyang mamili. Hindi tinanggap yung extrajudicial confession niya. So, yung extrajudicial confession dapat din in writing. In writing na nai-intend in the language na alam nung nag-confess, of course. And express. Okay? So, sa landmark case ng Miranda versus Arizona, kung saan nagsimula yung Miranda Doctrine, sabi ng Supreme Court, our holding will be spelled out with some specificity in the pages which follows, but briefly stated it is this. The prosecution may not, hindi sila pwedeng gumamit ng statements, whether exculpatory or inculpatory, stemming from the custodial investigation of the defendant unless it demonstrates the use of procedural safeguards effective to secure the privilege against self-incrimination. Okay, by custodial investigation, we mean questioning initiated by law enforcement officers after a person have been taken into custody or otherwise deprived of his freedom of action in any significant way. Para doon naman sa procedural safeguards na ini-employ unless other fully effective means are devised to inform accused persons of their right of silence and to assure continuous opportunity to exercise it, the following measures are required. So, prior sa questioning, yung tao dapat masabihan siya na meron siyang right to remain silent. Na lahat ng pwedeng niyang sabihin, pwedeng gamitin laban sa kanya. Okay? And kailangan siya sabihan na meron siyang karapatan to the presence of an attorney, either retained or appointed. Okay? Si defendant, pwede niyang ma-waive itong rights na to provided na yung waiver na yan, ginawa yan voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently. However, he indicates in any manner at any stage of the process that he wishes to consult with an attorney before speaking, there can be no questioning. Pag sinabi, gusto ko muna ng abogado. Okay, so hindi ka pwede magtanong. Likewise, if yung individual is alone and indicates in any manner na ayaw niyang ma-interrogate, hindi siya pwedeng i-interrogate. Okay, the mere fact that he may have answered some question or volunteered some statement on his own does not deprive him of his right to refrain from answering any further inquiries until he has consulted with an attorney and thereafter consents to be questioned. Okay? So, let's say, ini-interrogate mo siya. So, una, sumasagot siya, tapos bigla siyang tumahimik, bigla siyang hindi na sumagot. Considered ba yun as a waiver? No. Because yung waiver dapat express yan in writing and in the presence ng counsel. Okay? Yun lang ang way para ma-waive yung right to be silent niya and right to an attorney. Okay? So, kung sinasagot ka niya, tapos bigla siyang tumahimik, hindi ibig sabihin waiver yun. Kung meron siyang mga sinagot na tanong mo at merong hindi. Okay, so itong Section 12 na to provides several rights available sa tao facing custodial investigation. Ay sa case ng People versus Buscato, si accused convicted siya on the basis ng extrajudicial confessions na in-extract through their maltreatment during custodial investigation. Okay, so yung conviction nila was reversed dahil sa physical and mental moral coercion na in-exert sa kanila kaya sila nag-confess. Okay, parang pinilit, kinowers, as contrary dun sa right nila against self-incrimination. So it is likewise timely to impress anew on police officials na yung imperative requirements of truth and humanity condemn the utilization of force and violence to extract confessions from unwilling victims. Crimes must be punished and the guilty must not be allowed to escape. A desirable end cannot, however, be attained by unconstitutional means. There should be less than full respect for the law if in the process of enforcing it, lawless methods are employed. Likewise excluded sa case ng People versus Ramos were the admissions of the accused during his custodial investigation. Although merong evidence na he had been apprised of his rights under this provision. Sabi ng court, yung appellant grade 6 lang ang natapos niyan. Hindi siya adequately educated to understand fully and fairly yung significance ng constitutional right niya to silence and to counsel. As mandated, it is not enough na sabihin lang sa kanya yung karapatan na yon. Okay? And then taking statements down. The interrogating officer must have the patience na i-explain kung ano ba tong karapatan na to sa kanya. Okay? The records do not reveal na itong requirements na to have been fully complied with. Nor there was any showing that appellant have been represented by counsel during custodial investigation. Okay, so hindi sapat na sabihin mo lang sa kanya yung rights niya, dapat ipaintindi mo anong ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Galit, ni-reiterate ng court yung sinabi nila sa Morales versus Enrile concerning the treatment of a person under custodial investigation. The confession was rejected because of the proven torture inflicted doon sa accused. Okay? So, tinorture yung accused before his interrogation. Kaya siya nag-confess. So, hindi tinake yun as evidence. Moreover, before mangyari yung investigation na yun, in-inform naman siya ng rights niya. Followed by the question of kung ready na ba siya to make his statement. Sabi niya, oo daw. According sa judge na Supreme Court, such a long question followed by a monosyllabic answer does not satisfy the requirements of the law that the accused be informed of his rights. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Pecardal, sabi ng Supreme Court, we note that at the time that the accused appellant was apprehended and interrogated, 17 years old lang siya. Okay, that is a susceptible age. One can accept how easily a teenager can succumb to the pressure ng investigators. Okay, so na-pressure, kaya sumagot, kaya umamin. Okay, so yung pressure na yon irresistible. Hindi tinake yan as evidence. Sa People versus Capitan, yung confession, ginawang inadmissible, hindi tinanggap because it was taken without observance ng safeguards na provide ng Bill of Rights for the protection ng suspect facing custodial investigation. Okay? So, yung supposed confession ng accused na yun shows na merong usual mechanical advice of the suspect's rights, including the right to assistance of counsel, followed by a sacramental query as to whether or not she was waiving her right to such assistance, followed by the stereotyped answer so familiar in statements of this nature. As unacceptable as this question was, the answer thereto was no less so that he could not been possibly composed by the accused appellant in her state of mind at the time and given her limited knowledge of Tagalog. It is not believable that the organized and ready answer with all legal overtones could not have come from this 22-year-old housemaid who, on top of her deficiency sa language and sa batas, was presumably not thinking clearly. Because yung akusado na to is napatay niya yung sarili niyang anak and under emotional stress siya. Okay? So if written confessions in advance by the police for persons of limited intelligence and educational attainments have been outlawed, the same disprobation applies where a confession was signed by a person whose sanity was dubious. Okay? Kasi where yung intelligence niya hindi lamang limited kundi impaired. Nagpapanik na yung tao, kinakabahan na yung tao eh. Okay? Section 12 also stresses yung right ng person under investigation na magkaroon ng competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice. Okay? To be provided free if it cannot afford counsel de parte. Okay? This and other rights guaranteed sa subsection 1 dito sa paragraph 1. Pwedeng ma-waive yan ng suspect as long as yung waiver gagawin yan in writing and in the presence of the counsel who has presumably advised him. Itong advice na to may include the waiver of the counsel's services. Okay? Yang right to counsel na yan, hindi yan available during, take note, yung police lineup. Okay? Hindi yan available doon kasi hindi yan considered as part of custodial investigation. Okay, pwede ka bang bigyan ng tatanga-tangang lawyer lang, tatanga-tangang counsel? Sa case ng People versus Lucero, yung counsel do officio was present at the start of the custodial investigation of the accused, but left after a while kasi a-attend siya ng burol. Next morning, yung police dinala nila yung confession tsaka si Lucero dun sa bahay ng lawyer. Okay? So, nagkaroon ng confession habang nasa burol si abogado. So, tinanong niya si Lucero kung kusa niya bang pinirmahan. Sabi ni Lucero, oo. Okay? Obviously, under pressure from his military escort. So, ang ginawa ng lawyer, sinign din niya yung confession to authenticate its regularity. Nireject ni court yung confession na yun, holding the Constitution requires not just any kind of counsel, but effective and vigilant counsel. Okay? Reenactment ng crime in the absence ng counsel, inadmissible din yan as evidence against the accused. Okay, sabi sa People versus Suarez. Sa case naman ng People versus Bonola, sabi ng Supreme Court, invalid daw yung waiver ng suspect's custodial rights without assistance ng counsel. Okay? Kailangan wini-waive yan in the presence, where the suspect's confession was taken by the police before advising him of his custodial rights. Sabi ng Supreme Court that the evidence against him was inadmissible. Yung right to counsel is not unlimited. Okay? Where the accused repeatedly asked for postponement ng trial niya on the ground that kasi naghahanap pa siya ng lawyer, mag-a-appoint na si court ng lawyer niya ron. Okay? Yung right to counsel ng isang accused, guaranteed yan ng Constitution natin. During custodial investigation, arraignment, trial, and even on appeal, si accused may option siya to be represented by a counsel of his choice. But kapag nagkaroon ng neglect or ni-refuse niya to exercise this option during arraignment and trial, mag-a-appoint na si court. Okay? While the right to be represented by counsel is absolute, the accused's option to hire one of his own choice is limited. Such option cannot be used to sanction reprehensible dilatory tactics, to trifle with the rules, or to prejudice the equally important rights of the states and of the offended party to speedy and adequate justice. Yung paragraph 4 ng section 12, bagong provision yan and most likely inspired, perhaps invoked is a better word, by the widespread rumors and open complaints during the martial law regime of many abuses committed by the military, including yung pagsasalvage, zona operations, which were consistently denied and during the time seldom proved. Okay? Dahil sa provision na to, it is hoped that yung mga abuses na yan may be deterred, if committed, punished with appropriate civil and criminal sanctions that besides compensating the victims dun sa injury should also serve as a warning against the repetition of such acts. Sa case ng Guazon versus De Villa, sa petitioner, challenge niya yung practice ng mga military rounding up ng residents sa particular area and nire-require nila yung mga residents to line up for inspection. Okay, para mahuli nila yung mga fugitives in justice and mga suspected criminals. Supreme Court, rather than addressing the issue frontally, merely remanded the petition sa RTC. Okay, where the petitioners may present evidence supporting their allegations and where specific erring parties may be pinpointed and prosecuted. So sabi ni Justice Cruz, the saturation drive is not unfamiliar to us. It is likely the zona of the Japanese occupation. An area was surrounded by soldiers and all residents pinalabas sa mga bahay nila, pinaline up para lang hanapin yung isang tao. Okay? This man pointed to suspected guerrillas which were immediately arrested and eventually, if not instantly, executed. To be sure, there are some variations now. The most important difference is that it is no longer, hindi naman na 1943 ngayon. Okay? Tapos na yung occupation. Wala nang gera. Okay? We are supposed to be under a free republic and safeguarded by the Bill of Rights. Under RA 7309, yung mga victims of unjust imprisonment are arbitrary or illegal detention or of violent crimes, pwede sila mag-file for damages with the Board of Claims under the Department of Justice. Okay? Para sa mga victims for unjust imprisonment detention, ang award 1,000 for each month. In all other cases, the award shall not exceed 10,000 or the expense incurred for hospitalization, medical treatment, loss of wage, etc. Next sa mga rights is right to bail. Rights of the accused is rights to bail, Section 13. So, all persons except those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua when the evidence of guilt is strong shall, before conviction, be bailable by sufficient sureties or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. So, this talks about the right to bail. Okay? So, lahat ng tao may karapatang mag-bail except na lang yung mga tao charged with an offense punishable by reclusion perpetua when the evidence of guilt is strong. Okay? So kung charged ka ng reclusion perpetua at mahina naman yung evidence, then pwede ka mag-bail. Okay? Before conviction. Okay? So when we say bail is the security given for the release of a person in custody of the law, furnished by him or a bondsman, conditioned upon his appearance before any court as may be required. Okay? So to begin with, it should be borne in mind that only persons under detention may petition for bail. Okay? Kasi kung free man ka, or wala ka naman sa custody ng batas, you cannot ask for bail. However, bail cannot be denied simply because the person detained has not yet been formally charged in court but still under investigation for the commission of an offense. Okay? If one who has already been indicted is entitled to bail, there is no reason why another who has not yet been charged, against whom a prima facie case has not yet been established, should be denied a similar right. Meron yun nakipag-away sa akin. Pag hindi pa na-charge dyan, hindi pa daw pwede mag-bail. Kasi wala pa daw jurisdiction mag-grant ng bail. Nakikipagtalo pa siya sa akin. Pero malinaw naman sa bagong section sa Rule 114 that any person in custody who is not yet charged in court may apply for bail with any court in the province, city, municipality where he is held. Okay, so kahit hindi ka pa na-charge sa court, kakahuli pa lang sa'yo, pwede ka mag-file ng bail doon sa province, city, or municipality kung saan ka kinulong, saan ka dinetain. Okay, kahit wala pang charge sa court. Yun ano nakipagtalo sa akin na yun eh. Well, ano yun? Tawag doon? Demo teaching. So, ang demo teaching ko tungkol sa bail. So, na-bring up ko to kasi bagong section nga to sa Rule 114. Eh siya medyo may edad na, so nasa oldest pa siya na generation, oldest na rules yung knowledge niya, syempre. Aba, ayaw niya mag-take ng bagong knowledge pa. Ay, pinipilit niya pa rin yung dati kahit nagkaroon na ng sandamakmak na revision since nung nag-aaral siya. Hindi siya abogado, take note. Public ad graduate yun. Okay? Kulit. It is stressed that Section 13 has reversed. Okay? Garcia Padilla versus Enrile, by preserving the right to bail even if the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus has been suspended. Okay? The exception applies to any offense which under the law existing at the time of its commission and at the time of the application for bail may be punished by reclusion perpetua or death, even if a lesser penalty may be imposed upon conviction owing to mitigating circumstances that may be disclosed later. Nevertheless, the accused is still entitled to bail if, say, he is charged with murder and the evidence adduced by the prosecution at the hearing on the petition for bail indicates only a case of homicide. Sa case ng Enrile versus Salazar, the petitioners were charged with rebellion with murder and multiple frustrated murder allegedly committed in connection with the failed coup d'etat that took place in the late 1989. So, inarrest sila, detain sila without bail. So, pumunta sila sa Supreme Court and inter alia invoked People versus Hernandez, which sabi sa case na to, yung crime with rebellion could not be complex with murder. Kasi yung simple rebellion, that time punished lang siya with prison mayor and 20,000. And therefore, bailable. The court, after giving petitioners provisional liberty pending resolution of the case, finally ruled that based on the doctrine doon sa Hernandez case, yung question information filed against the petitioner, Enrile, must be read as charging a simple rebellion only. Hence, petitioner entitled sila sa bail before conviction as a matter of right. Yung bagong provision ngayon sa revised rules of court states that all persons in custody entitled sila sa bail as a matter of right. Okay, except those charged ng capital offense or an offense which under the law, yung commission niya at the time applicable for bail is punishable by reclusion perpetua when the evidence of guilt is strong. So, pinalitan nito yung yung old rule natin. Okay? Even if the crime imputed to the accused is punishable by reclusion perpetua, kahit na reclusion perpetua yan, entitled pa rin siya sa bail if yung evidence of guilt hindi naman strong. Okay? This does not have to be established by him. It is for the prosecution to prove, on the contrary, although it is not necessary at this point to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Sa case ng People versus Cortez, Supreme Court directed that where the accused is convicted ng capital offense of an offense punishable by reclusion perpetua, yung bail niya dapat ma-cancel and he shall be placed in confinement pending the resolution ng appeal niya. Okay? Hearing sa petition for bail required yan to satisfy due process. Pero this may be summary in nature and held in, of course, of the trial itself. Separate hearing, hindi yan indispensable. Yung mere probability ng escape. Okay? Right ang bail, di ba? May right, merong discretion ng court. So, hindi porket merong probability of escape, pwedeng tumakas itong tao na to, i-deny na kagad yung bail. Okay? Kasi nga, bail is a matter of right. Okay? Ang remedy is, taasan na lang yung bail, provided hindi siya excessive. But after conviction in the regional court, the accused may be denied bail if merong risk of absconding. Kasi kapag after conviction na sa RTC, discretionary na lang sa part ng court yung bail. Okay? So, to be considered in bail, sa discretion, kasi merong bail as a matter of right, may bail as a matter of discretion. So, as a matter of right yan, before conviction, syempre, tapos, hindi naman reclusion perpetua or even if reclusion perpetua, not strong yung evidence. Okay? Pag ganun ba, bawal ka na talaga mag-bail, pwede pa rin, discretion ng court. So, pwede nila i-consider yung financial ability mo, nature and circumstance ng offense mo, penalty for the offense charge, yung character and reputation ng accused, age niya, tsaka health niya, like si Enrile, pinayagan mag-bail kahit na capital offense yung reclusion perpetua, yung kaso niya dati, yung plunder. Pinayagan siya dahil daw fragile health and old age. Okay? Buhay pa hanggang ngayon. The weight of the evidence against him, probability niya ng mag-appear sa trial, forfeiture of other bonds, the fact that he was a fugitive from justice when arrested, and pendency of other cases which he is under. Okay? So, ang bail, as a matter of right yan, generally, lahat ng tao in custody shall be admitted to bail as a matter of right. Okay? So, before conviction by the MTC. Okay? And before conviction by the RTC, sa isang offense not punishable by death, reclusion perpetua, or life imprisonment. Okay? Kasi kung punishable yan by reclusion perpetua, tas na-convict ka na, ibig sabihin, malakas yung evidence kasi nga na-convict ka eh. Okay? So, hindi na as a matter of right yung bail kapag na-convict ka na sa RTC. Okay? Sa MTC naman, before or after conviction. Bakit? Kasi kahit na evidence is strong, or beyond reasonable doubt na, hindi naman reclusion perpetua yung mga inaano sa RTC. Okay? Bail when discretionary. So, bail discretionary siya upon conviction by the RTC of an offense not punishable by death, reclusion perpetua, or life imprisonment. Okay? So, pwede kang pagbigyan ng court. Nakadepende dun sa mga circumstances na binanggit ko kanina. Okay, if imprisonment exceeding 6 years, pag mas mataas sa 6 years si accused, dapat i-deny siya ng bail if una, recidivist siya, quasi-recidivist, habitual delinquent, or nag-commit siya ng crime aggravated by the circumstance of reiteration. Okay? O kaya, pag more than 6 years, tapos previously escaped from legal confinement, nag-evade siya ng sentence niya, or violated the conditions ng bail niya without valid justification. Nag-commit siya ng offense while under probation, parole, or conditional pardon. If the circumstances of his case indicate the probability of flight if released on bail, or there is undue risk that he may commit another crime during the pendency of the appeal. Next is presumption of innocence. So, Section 14. In all criminal prosecution, the accused shall be presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. Okay? So, yung accusation is not synonymous with guilt. Okay? In this jurisdiction, the accused is presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. It is the responsibility ng prosecution to establish the defendant guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Otherwise, entitled siya sa acquittal. Okay? Conviction will depend not on the weakness ng defense but on the strength ng prosecution. Okay? So, ang burden of proof nasa prosecution. Patunayan mo na itong akusado is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Otherwise, kung hindi mo kaya, acquitted yan. Okay? So, wala siyang kailangang gawin para patunayan na inosente siya. Yung person accused of an offense is confronted by the full panoply of the state authority. In a manner of speaking, he goes to bat with all these bases loaded. Okay? It is important, therefore, in the interest of justice, para pantay naman, para patas naman, kasi state yung kalaban mo dyan eh. Okay? So, para maging patas, i-guarantee dapat yung certain rights during his trial. Okay? Like ito. Kailangan patunayan ka na guilty ka beyond reasonable doubt. Sa People versus Sunga, prosecution for rape, Supreme Court held that although the defense of the appellant was weak, he nevertheless could not be convicted because of the constitutional presumption of innocence. Kasi mas mahina yung defense ng prosecution. So yung burden of proof na yan, rests upon the execution. So, prosecution. So, responsibility ng prosecution na patunayan yung guilt ng accused. So, dapat mag-present siya ng sufficient evidence ma-establish yung element ng crime charge. Okay? So, papatunayan siya with evidence of proof beyond reasonable doubt. Yung guilt niya beyond reasonable doubt. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating proof beyond reasonable doubt, moral certainty, merong moral certainty. It means yung evidence presented must be of such nature na wala ng substantial doubt as to the accused's guilt sa mind of a reasonable, prudent person. Okay? It should be sufficient to convince a rational mind to a moral certainty nung culpability ng accused. Okay, paano naman yung presumption of regularity of official function? Okay? Kasi merong presumption na itong mga official natin, ginagawa nila maayos yung trabaho nila. Okay? So, yung presumption of regularity in the performance of official function cannot itself affect yung constitutional presumption of innocence enjoyed by the accused, particularly when the prosecution's evidence is weak. The evidence of the prosecution must be strong enough to pierce the shield of this presumptive innocence and to establish the guilt of the accused beyond reasonable doubt. Okay? Kapag yung evidence ng prosecution is insufficient to overcome this presumption, necessarily the judgment of conviction of the trial court must be set aside. The onus probandi of the prosecution is not discharged by casting doubts upon the innocence of the accused, but by eliminating all reasonable doubts as to his guilt. Yung prosecution, yung constitutional presumption of innocence must yield to what has been so amply and persuasively demonstrated. Okay? Amplifying on this rule sa case ng People versus Regulation, that it was incumbent sa accused who admitted to the killing to establish his case of self-defense instead of relying merely on the weakness of the prosecution. Okay? So, kapag gumamit ka ng defense, like self-defense, insanity, so, mapupunta sa accused yung burden of proof na patunayan na self-defense talaga yan, insane talaga. Okay? Right to be heard. Okay? Section 14. 'Di ba? Nakalagay sa may bandang huli, and shall enjoy the right to be heard by himself and counsel. So, already implicit sa discussion ko kanina about Due process. Yung right ng accused to be heard by himself and counsel is still affirmed specifically sa Section 14, Paragraph 2. Presumably, to give emphasis where added emphasis is due. Etong right na to is indispensable in any criminal prosecution where the stakes are the liberty or even the life of the accused who must for this reason be given a chance na i-defend yung sarili niya. Sa case ng People versus Lumagi, sinet aside ng Supreme Court yung conviction ng 3 accused. After finding na hindi dinenay yung due process nila kasi hindi sila napagbigyan na mag-testify and mag-present ng additional evidence on their behalf. The trial court was directed to receive such additional evidence and to allow defendants to present rebuttal evidence in case the prosecution should present rebuttal evidence. So, when we say right to be heard, kasama dyan yung right mo na mag-present ng evidence para i-rebut yung evidence ng prosecution. Okay, so may right siya sa assistance ng counsel. So, it has been previously observed na yung right to counsel, nagsisimula yan from the time yung tao is taken into custody and placed under investigation for the commission of a crime. Okay? Manifestly, itong right na to becomes all the more important kapag nasa trial na siya and confronted by an experienced and skilled prosecutor. Okay? The intricacies of courtroom procedure are not within the knowledge of the ordinary layman, let alone one who is ignorant and unlettered. That is why that the accused is entitled to be heard in his defense not only by himself but also with the assistance ng isang counsel. A counsel de officio shall be appointed for him if hindi niya kaya magbayad ng services ng isang lawyer. Okay? Yung right of the accused to counsel in criminal proceeding has never been considered subject to waiver. Okay? This is because in criminal case, walang fair hearing unless the accused is given an opportunity to be heard by the counsel. Kasi hindi niya naman alam kung paano yung wala naman siyang skill sa science of law, sa rules of procedure. Okay? Kaya nandun yung counsel kasi si counsel may alam siya dun. Okay? Kasi mamaya kung walang counsel, pwede siyang ma-convict hindi dahil guilty siya, pero hindi niya alam paano i-establish yung innocence niya. Okay? The rule is stressed in the case of the illiterate defendant with a modicum of intelligence who obviously hindi niya kayang depensahan yung sarili niya and will have to depend upon the assistance ng counsel. A counsel de officio should still be, despite of the objection of the accused, dapat i-appoint pa rin ng court to represent him kahit ayaw nung accused. Okay, so saan natatapos yung duty ni court? Okay, pag na-appoint na ba yung counsel, tapos na? Hindi pa. Okay? So, trabaho rin ni court na siguraduhin na yung counsel na in-appoint niya, gagawin talaga na maayos yung trabaho. Counsel de officio should not merely make the motions of defending the accused, but i-exert niya utmost efforts niya as if he were representing a paying client. Okay? Dapat yung counsel na in-appoint is competent and independent. Okay? And hindi lang yan after trial. Kahit pa umabot ng appeal yan, trabaho pa rin ng counsel de officio na siguraduhin na madedepensahan niya yung akusado. Okay? So, it should be noted, however, na itong right to be silent and assistance, as discussed kanina, pwedeng ma-waive yan during custodial investigation. Okay? Next is to be informed of the nature and cause of accusation against him. Okay, yung phrase na yon. So that is the right to be informed of the nature and the cause of accusation. So, si defendant, entitled siya na malaman yung nature and cause ng accusation laban sa kanya para makapag-prepare siya ng depensa niya. Okay? Obviously, hindi niya magagawa yun kung huhulaan niya lang ano yung binibintang sa kanya. Di ba? Okay? So, hindi ka rin pwedeng makonvict sa isang crime na hindi in-inform sa'yo yung nature and cause of accusation. Okay? So, pwede ka bang ma-convict ng murder if hindi naman sinabi sa'yo ano yung qualifying circumstance na nagawa mo? Siyempre hindi. Okay? So, ang chinarge sa'yo, homicide. Yun yung kinaso sa'yo. Pwede ka bang makonvict sa murder? Hindi. Bakit? Kasi mas mataas yun eh. So, hindi ka naman informed. Hindi ka na-arraigned doon sa crime ng murder. Pero, let's say vice versa. Murder, chinarge sa'yo, pwede ka ba makonvict ng homicide? Yes. The lesser offense, the greater offense involves the lesser offense. Okay? Accordingly, sa rules of court, sabi sa, whenever possible, yung complaint or information should state the designation given to the offense by the statute, besides the statement of acts or omission constituting the same. If there is no such designation, reference should be made to the section or subsection of the statute punishing it. Okay? So, furthermore, yung acts or omission complaint as constituting the offense, dapat stated yan in ordinary and concise language without repetition, not necessarily in the terms of the statute defining the offense, but in such form na maiintindihan ng tao, nung akusado, kung ano yung offense na binibintang sa kanya. Okay? And to enable the court to pronounce proper judgment. Yung description and not designation of the offense is controlling. Okay, yung description, hindi yung tawag. Okay, let's say, murder. Homicide yung kinaso sa'yo. Pero dun sa acts, naglagay sila ron ng relationship, qualifying circumstance, aggravating circumstance, etc. Yun yung controlling. Okay? Hence, kahit may erroneous designation, mali yung pangalan ng crime, pero si accused, pwede pa rin siyang makonvict of the crime described doon sa information. Okay, si accused, si defendant, also denied ng right to be informed of the charges against him and due process as well, where the statute itself is couched in such indefinite language that it is not possible for men of ordinary intelligence to determine therefrom what acts or omissions are punished and hence should be avoided. Okay? Ito yung void for vagueness rule. Thus, a law imposing penalties upon a person for being a gangster is constitutionally flawed kasi it does not define the word with such reasonable specificity as to sufficiently inform the ordinary individual of its meaning and thus enable him to avoid violation of its provision. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Parazo, yung isang bingi, tsaka pipe, tapos mentally retarded siya, could not adequately defend himself at the trial for lack of a qualified sign language expert or any other means to communicate to him the crime he was alleged to have committed. So yung conviction niya was reversed and the case remanded to the lower court for retrial. So, kailan ba ini-inform yung akusado ng nature and cause? During arraignment. Okay? So, during arraignment, syempre, present dapat si accused. Kung hindi na-arraign si accused, mababiolate yung right niya to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation against him. Next trial, di ba? Nakalagay to have speedy, impartial, and public trial. Okay? So, yung original constitution required the trial of the accused to be only public and speedy. Yung bagong Bill of Rights dapat impartial na rin daw dinagdag. Okay? So, it has been previously remarked na itong requirement na to will call for no less than the cold neutrality of the impartial judge. Okay? To ensure that justice is done to the defendants. Okay? In another case, it was held as part of the rule that the judge hindi lamang dapat siya impartial but must also appear to be impartial. Okay, sa case ng Ignacio versus Villaluz, si respondent judge had previously convicted the petitioner of arson, holding that the motive for the crime was to conceal the acts of malversation committed by the accused. When he was subsequently prosecuted for malversation before the same judge, the petitioner moved for the latter's disqualification on the ground that he could not be expected to be objective and impartial in the trial of this case. The judge denied the motion and the petition went on certiorari to the Supreme Court where he was sustained. Sabi, it is difficult to understand the reluctance of respondent judge to inhibit himself. Okay? Kasi it is now beyond dispute that due process cannot be satisfied in the absence of the decree of objectivity sa part ng judge sufficient to reassure litigants of being fair and just. Okay, yung publicity of the trial necessary yan to prevent abuses that may be committed by the court to the prejudice of the defendant. Okay? The people, meron silang right to attend the proceedings hindi lamang dahil sa interest nila, but also so they can see whether or not the constitutional safeguards for the benefit of the accused are being observed. The accused is entitled to the company of his relatives and friends to give him moral support kung kinakailangan niya. Okay? However, hindi absolute tong rule na to. For it is competent for the court to bar the public in certain cases like mga rape trial, where the purpose of the spectators in attending the proceedings might be only to pander to their morbid curiosity, since their presence is likely to inhibit testimony and embarrass some parties. Kaya ang speedy trial, dinefine yan as one free from vexatious, capricious, and oppressive delays. Sandyang delays, paulit-ulit na delay. Okay? It is intended to relieve the accused of needless anxieties, inconvenience before sentence is pronounced upon him. Consonant to sa Section 16, which provides that all persons have the right to a speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative bodies. Okay? Now, although yung trial indispensable yan and most important ng proceeding against the accused, it has been held that the right to be present thereat is a personal right and therefore pwedeng ma-waive. Okay? So, pwede ka lang kailangan ka lang present sa arraignment. Okay? May karapatan ka rin maging present sa trial pero pwedeng ma-waive yan. Okay? By the new rule, allowing yung tinatawag natin na trial by absentia. Okay? So, trial by absentia, previously, when in the course of this trial, tumakas yung defendant o hindi siya nagpakita, the same was suspended dati. Okay? Pero na-modify na yan. Okay? Kasi nakalagay naman sa section 14 paragraph 2, after arraignment, trial may proceed notwithstanding the absence of the accused, provided that he has been duly notified of his failure to appear is unjustifiable. So, pwede siya. After ma-arraign, pwede nang magkaroon ng trial kung hindi nagpakita si accused at yung reason niya unjustifiable. Okay? So, anong requisites ng trial in absentia? Una, the accused had already been arraigned. Okay? He has been duly notified of the trial and yung failure to appear niya is justified. Okay? Unjustified. Okay? Binigyan siya ng notice na ganitong araw yung trial mo, hindi ka nagpakita. Pwede na tuloy yung trial in absentia as long as na-arraign ka na. Kasi arraignment mahalaga yan because that is when you are informed of the nature and cause of the accusation against you, di ba? So, ang purpose ng rule na to is para mapabilis yung disposition ng criminal case. The trial of which could in the past be indefinitely deferred and many times completely abandoned because of the defendant's escape. Okay? So, para mas mapabilis. Trial in absentia, however, does not abrogate the provisions of the rules of court regarding forfeiture of the bail bond if the accused fails to appear at his trial. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Prieto, the trial court reconsidered its original order and deferred confiscation of the bail bond of the accused, who had already gone abroad and could not attend his trial, as being premature until judgment of conviction shall have been rendered. Okay? Sa case ng Manotok versus CA, a person granted bail while facing staff charges. Gusto niyang pumunta sa abroad to attend a certain business matters. Permission having been denied, pumunta siya sa Supreme Court where the denial was sustained. Sabi ng Supreme Court, a court has the power to prohibit a person admitted to bail from leaving the Philippines. Okay? This is a necessary consequence of the nature and function of bail bond. Indeed, if the person were allowed to leave the Philippines without sufficient reason, baka hindi na talaga siya bumalik, hindi na siya mahagilap. Okay, next, yung right to confrontation. Okay, so meron kang right to meet the witness face to face. Okay? So, sa case ng United States versus Javier, sabi ng Supreme Court, yung right to confrontation intends to secure the accused in the right to be tried, so far as the facts provable by witnesses are concerned, by only such witnesses as meet him face to face at the trial, who give their testimony in his presence and give the accused an opportunity of cross-examination. It was intended to prevent conviction of the accused upon deposition or ex parte affidavits, and particularly to preserve the right of the accused to test the recollection of the witness in the exercise of the right to cross-examination. Okay? So, meron siyang karapatan na malaman sino yung nag-aakusa sa kanya or sino yung mga witness laban sa kanya. Okay? May karapatan siya na marinig yung testimony ng witness na to and mag-conduct ng cross-examination para masigurado kung totoo ba talaga yung sinasabi niyan. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Liwanag, si accused nag-object siya sa inclusion ng evidence for the prosecution of testimony adduced against him during preliminary investigation. Okay? As it appeared, however, na itong witness were subjected to cross-examination. And later, also at the trial, sabi ng Supreme Court, walang violation ng right to confrontation kasi nakapag-conduct naman kayo ng cross-examination. Okay, save in the cases provided in the rules of court like dying declaration, yung testimony of the witness against the accused is subject to cross-examination by defense counsel. Depositions and ex parte affidavits are inadmissible unless na lang yung tao na gumawa ng ex parte affidavit na yan are presented in court for examination on their statement by the judge and the accused. Okay? Evidence of this nature is hearsay and excluded by the rules of court. Okay? O merong sulat laban sa'yo, galing kay ganito. Tapos wala ka naman pagkakataon na i-cross-examine itong tao na to kung siya ba talaga nagsulat nun. 'Di ba? So, violation ng right yun. It has also been held na kapag yung witness ng prosecution namatay bago ma-cross-examine, yung direct testimony nun, pwede pa rin tanggapin provided the material points ng kanyang direct testimony have been covered sa cross-examination. Okay? Of special interest is yung case ng Tampar versus Usman where the following observations were made. Sabi ng Supreme Court, the court shares the concerns of the petitioners in the use of yamin in the proceeding. And for that matter, before the Philippine Sharia Court, Section 7 ng Special Rules of Proceeding prescribes for Sharia courts aforecited provides that if the plaintiff has no evidence na mapatunayan yung claim niya, the defendant shall take an oath and judgment shall be rendered in his favor by the court. On the other hand, should defendant refuse to take an oath, plaintiff may affirm his claim under oath in which judgment shall be rendered in his favor. Next is yung rights ng accused to have a compulsory process to secure the attendance of witnesses and production of evidence in his behalf. Okay? So may right siya to compulsory process. Accused, entitled siya under the Constitution to the issuance ng subpoena sa mga witness na gusto niya, eto, witness ko to. Kaya na itong patunayan na inosente ako. Okay? Pwede ko bang pilitin yon? Hindi pwede. Anong pwede kong gawin? Pwedeng pasabpinahan yan sa korte para pumunta siya at mag-testify. Okay? That is the right to compulsory process. So, may right si accused sa issuance ng subpoena and subpoena duces tecum, subpoena ad testificandum, for the purpose of compelling the attendance of witness and the production of evidence that he may need for his defense. So, subpoena duces tecum means mag-produce, pwedeng i-compel ni court yung tao na to, mag-produce siya ng document na kinakailangan nitong akusado. Subpoena ad testificandum, sasabpinahan nitong tao na to para mag-testify on behalf of the accused. Okay? Para mabigay yung evidence na kinakailangan na accused. Sa case ng People versus Bardahe, a witness was subpoenaed on the request of the accused, but instead of taking steps to compel her attendance, the judge held the defense responsible for bringing her to the trial, stating that her testimony would be dispensed with if she failed to appear. Sabi ng Supreme Court, bakit yung defense yung bibigyan ng responsibility na i-produce yung witness? Okay? Kung ganun ang gagawin, denial yan ng right ng accused to compulsory process. In exceptional cases, the defendant may even ask for a conditional examination provided na yung expected testimony is material. Okay? Of any witness who is so sick or infirm as to afford reasonable ground for believing that he will not be able to attend the trial or resides more than 100 kilometers from the place of the trial, tapos wala siyang means para makapunta dun sa trial. Pwede yun. Entitled din siya to employ various methods of discoveries allowed in the rules of court, like letters regatory, written interrogatories. Okay? Etong right to compulsory process na to, dapat i-invoke to during trial. I-invoke nung akusado. Kapag hindi niya in-invoke, that constitutes a waiver that cannot be rectified or undone during appeal. Okay, right of the accused against prohibited punishments. Kasama yan ng rights of the accused, section 19. So, excessive fines shall not be imposed nor cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment inflicting. Neither shall death penalty be imposed unless for compelling reasons involving heinous crimes, the Congress hereafter provides for it. Any death penalty shall be imposed shall be reduced to reclusion perpetua. Employment of physical, psychological, or degrading punishment against any prisoner or detainee of the use of substandard or inadequate penal facilities under subhuman conditions shall be dealt with by law. Okay? So, ang death ba considered ba yan as excessive cruel penalty? The answer is no. Okay? Kasi, nasa batas naman eh. Okay? Ang masasabi natin cruel, degrading, if wala naman sa batas, yan. Yan yung inimpose mo sa kanya. Okay? Binalian mo ng kamay, kinastrate mo dahil ng rape, pinutulan mo ng kamay dahil nagnakaw, that is cruel. That is degrading. That is inhumane. Okay? So, bawal impose ng ganon. Bawal din yung excessive fines. Okay? Yung death penalty nakalagay dyan, pwede pag compelling reasons, but ang death penalty natin ngayon is suspended. Okay? So, lahat ng death penalty nireduce sa reclusion perpetua. Okay? Penal facilities dapat maayos. Okay, shall be dealt with by law. Kasi kailangan makatao yung kulungan. Okay, so bawal yung mga physical, psychological, degrading punishment against prisoner or detainee or paggamit ng hindi makataong kulungan. Okay? Yung old prohibition against cruel or unusual punishment has been rewritten to cover cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment para maging comprehensive in line yung provision na yan. Okay? Yung mere fines and imprisonment are not violative ng section na to. To be so, yung penalty must be inhuman and barbarous and shocking to the conscience like thumbscrew, rock, yung mga pinag-aralan natin sa intelligence, yung burning at the stake, crucifixion, yan, mga cruel yan. Cruelty must be inherent doon sa penalty as in nilalatigo ka, torture, cruel yan. Okay? But kapag merong unforeseeable accident adds to the serving of the convict, a penalty is otherwise valid does not become cruel or unusual. Okay? Thus, doon sa Louisiana versus Resweber, nagkaroon ng failure sa electric chair. So, nireschedule yung electric chair niya. So, sabi niya, inhuman naman to. Kasi pinatagal pa. Pinakaba pa ako na sobra. Okay? Kasi meron na mag-undergo na naman siya ng psychological strain. Sabi ng Supreme Court, hindi cruel yon. Because no purpose to inflict unnecessary pain or any unnecessary pain involved in the proposed execution. Okay? So, hindi naman sadya. Okay? Valid naman yung punishment, yung electric chair. Hindi naman cruel yon. Kaso, dahil nagkaroon ng malfunction, hindi naman yung sadya. Okay, yung magdanakaw or yung rapist, yung manyakis, pinatakbo mo sa daan na nakahubad. That is cruel. That is unusual. Okay? Doon naman sa paragraph 2, yung Commission of Human Rights natin, specially entrusted sila with the enforcement ng prohibition na yan. Okay? Which, to be really effective, must be provided with teeth through the enactment of the law imposing the necessary sanctions upon those violating the rule. Appropriations should also be provided for the improvement of the facilities ng isang penal institution. Next, section 21 is the right of the person against double jeopardy. Basically, to say, napagbintangan ka na ng una, na-acquit ka, pwede ka pa bang kasuhan ulit? Hindi na pwede. That is double jeopardy. Okay? So, no person shall be put twice in jeopardy of punishment for the same offense. Okay? If an act is punished by a law and an ordinance, conviction or acquittal under either shall constitute a bar to another prosecution for the same act. Yung act mo na ginawa, punishable siya ng, let's say, RPC, tapos punishable siya ng isang ordinance. Okay? Kinasuhan ka, violation ng ordinance na guilty ka, nag-fine ka. Pwede ka bang kasuhan, violation naman ng RPC? Same act, hindi pwede. Okay? Because you will be put to double jeopardy. Okay? Fittingly described as res judicata in prison gray. Okay? Yung right against double jeopardy prohibits the prosecution, again, ng isang tao for a crime na na-acquit na siya or na-convict na siya. Okay? Ang object nito is to set the effects of the first prosecution forever at rest, assuring that the accused hindi na siya masasubject sa anxiety, sa danger of a second charge against him for the same offense. Okay, so requisites. Para mo masasabi na double jeopardy yung may violation ng double jeopardy. Or kailan nagko-constitute ng double jeopardy. So sa dinabi namin ng cases, long line of cases, sabi una, there must be a valid complaint or information. Okay? So, yung prosecution based on an invalid complaint or information, hindi yan maglilid sa valid judgment. Hence, si accused hindi siya mape-place under double jeopardy. Okay? Kasi invalid yung information. So, hindi siya mako-convict kahit anong mangyari. So, walang double jeopardy na mangyayari kung kakasuhan ulit siya at itatama na yung information. Okay? Pangalawa, there must be a competent court. Ifa-file yan with competent court. Okay? Kasi yung court without jurisdiction, kung wala naman jurisdiction si court, hindi siya pwede mag-render ng valid judgment. Thus, hindi ikaka-convict ni accused, hindi siya makukulong. Okay? So, kapag final mo ulit yung same case na yon sa valid court, okay lang. Walang double jeopardy doon. Kasi yung unang pinag-filean mo, hindi naman competent court. Wala siyang jurisdiction para mag-render ng valid judgment. Okay? A person charged before it cannot plead double jeopardy when kapag kinasuhan na siya sa maayos na court. Kasi yung first prosecution or prosecution never place him in jeopardy. Hindi siya makukulong kasi walang jurisdiction yung court. Okay? Pangatlo, to which the defendant has pleaded. Dapat merong valid na plea. A plea of yung defendant hindi siya placed under jeopardy until after he shall have pleaded to the charges against him during the arraignment. So hangga't hindi ka pa na-arraign, okay? Hindi pa na-arraign, dinismiss yung kaso mo, kinasuhan ka ulit, may double jeopardy, wala. Kasi yung unang prosecution, you were never put in danger of conviction kasi hindi ka pa na-arraign. Thus, kung kunyari, merong defective complaint, dinismiss bago ma-arraign. Tapos, final ulit yung kaso na yon. Pwede ba mag-plea ng double jeopardy? Hindi. Because, hindi naman siya na-expose sa danger doon sa unang kinaso sa kanya. So, ang titignan mo dito, in danger ba siya nung una? Okay? If yes, then, bawal na siyang kasuhan ulit for that same offense. Pangalawa, termination of case. Yang pang-apat. So, there is not much problem when the case is terminated by acquittal or conviction as the effects of these decisions are settled in this jurisdiction. Acquittal is of course executory upon rendition and entitles the accused sa immediate release. Yung judgment of conviction is appealable within 15 days but becomes final and convict starts serving his sentence even before the expiration ng period na to. Okay? It can no longer be set aside by the court to order a new trial or impose a new sentence. As a general rule, a dismissal with express consent ng accused. Okay? Gusto mo bang i-dismiss natin tong kaso na to? Umoo si accused. Pumayag. So, pwede pa siyang ma-prosecute ulit for the same offense. Okay? Kasi yung consent is considered waiver niya ng right niya against double jeopardy. Okay? So, the consent to be effective must be expressed. And this includes mere silence or failure of the accused to object to the dismissal. Okay, dinismiss, hindi siya nag-object. Okay, sige. Hindi yun considered as waiver niya ng right to jeopardy. Okay? Sa pang-apat, dapat terminate without his express consent. Okay? Para mag-constitute ng double jeopardy. Okay? So, that is the right of a person against double jeopardy. Okay? May cases na itong si accused is acquitted siya. Okay? So, si prosecution, pwede pa siya mag-appeal. Constitute ba yun ng double jeopardy? The answer is no. Same case pa rin naman yun. The prosecution can appeal where the accused is deemed to have waived or stopped from invoking his right against double jeopardy. Kapag winave niya or hindi niya na pwedeng i-invoke. Okay? But the defense of double jeopardy will be available to the accused where the dismissal of the prosecution against him, even with his express consent, was based on insufficiency of evidence of the prosecution or denial ng kanyang right to speedy trial. Dahil itong dismissals na to considered in the nature of an acquittal. As such, they cannot be appealed by the prosecution and will bar another prosecution of the defendant for the same offense. Okay? And this is true even if the dismissal is erroneous. So ano yung mga crimes covered na to? So kung yung apat na elements ng double jeopardy are present, hindi na pwedeng ma-prosecute si accused anew for the original offense, for the same offense, and for any attempting to commit the same or frustration thereof, and for any offense which necessarily includes or necessarily included in the offense charged in the original complaint or information. Okay? Yung person acquitted of murder, hindi na siya pwedeng ma-prosecute again for the same murder or homicide. Okay? Kasi yung homicide, included yun sa murder. As this is embraced in the first offense. If yung original prosecution naman ng homicide, hindi siya na-indict, hindi siya na-acquit siya. This time, murder naman, as this embraces the original charge. He may not be prosecuted for attempted robbery, then frustrated robbery, or vice versa. Or slight physical injury, tas after nun, less serious naman, hindi pwede yun. Double jeopardy yun. Okay? So, meron tayo tinatawag din na doctrine of supervening event. Okay, so under the doctrine of supervening event, however, si accused, pwede siyang ma-prosecute for another offense if merong subsequent development changes the character ng first indictment under which he may have already been charged or convicted. Okay? Thus, yung person, let's say, convicted siya ng physical injuries, pwede pa siyang ma-prosecute for homicide if later namatay yung victim. Okay? So, sinakasak niya yung victim, hindi namatay, nasa ospital, nakasuhan siya physical injury, na-convict siya ng physical injury, tapos namatay yung victim, yung nasa ospital, pwede pa siya ma-prosecute for homicide. That is the doctrine of supervening event. Okay? Sa case ng People versus Adil, si accused was first prosecuted for slight physical injuries. Nag-plead siya ng not guilty. The charge was changed to serious physical injuries when it appeared na yung wound inflicted sa victim nagkaroon ng permanent scar sa mukha niya. That is serious physical injury. Okay? So, sabi ng Supreme Court, walang double jeopardy kasi wala naman deformity nung tinatry yung slight physical injury niya. Okay? Kasama dyan sa doctrine na yan kapag merong graver offense developed due to supervening facts arising from the same act or omission constituting the former charge. Yung facts constituting the graver charge became known or were discovered after ma-file yung complaint or information. Tapos yung plea of guilty to lesser offense was made without the consent ng prosecutor and the offended party except na lang sa provided ng Section 1 ng Rule 116 Rules of Court. Meron din tayong tinatawag na inseparable offenses. So kapag yung one offense is inseparable from another and proceeds from the same act, they cannot be subject of separate prosecutions. Okay? So nagkaroon ka ng homicide with reckless injury resulting to homicide and damage to property. So hindi pwedeng paghiwalayin yung homicide tsaka yung damage property because they resulted from the same act. Okay? Yung isang tao, in-indict siya for smoking opium, hindi na siya pwedeng ma-charge with possessing opium. Yung isang tao na nagnakaw ng maraming bagay sa isang tao, ninakawan niya ng cellphone, wallet, motor, hindi siya pwedeng i-charge ng hiwa-hiwalay ng pagnanakaw ng motor, pagnanakaw ng wallet, pagnanakaw ng cellphone. Dapat isang crime of theft lang. Okay? Yung isa na convicted na ng less serious physical injury cannot later be prosecuted for assault on a person in authority committed on the same occasion against the same victim. Okay? However, it is possible for one act to give rise to several crimes. Okay, pwede yun. Isang act mo, marami kang crime na nagawa. In which case, pwedeng separate prosecution yung mangyari sa'yo. Okay? Like yung isang tao, while driving without license, na aksidente siya. Pwede siya ma-prosecute for both damage to property and violation ng motor vehicle law. Okay? Yung pardonee who commits falsification and thus, violate niya yung condition ng pardon niya, pwede siyang ma-prosecute for both offenses without denial ng right niya to due process. Okay? And lastly, we have the act violating law or ordinance. So, sabi ng Constitution, if yung act is punished by a law or an ordinance, yung conviction or acquittal under either shall constitute a bar to another prosecution for the same act. To illustrate, let's say, yung person na convict siya ng weteng under municipal ordinance, hindi na siya pwedeng ma-charge with the same act under the provision ng Article 195 ng Revised Penal Code punishing the same act. Okay? So that is the rule. Okay, so that is the right of a person, right of the accused.